Hi, I'm Sarah Lynn from Motherless Daughters Ministry, and I'm reflecting today on the age of loss for motherless daughters. I've been thinking about age a lot lately as I am turning 40 this month. It's got me reflecting on my 30s. What a decade of life changes. There are so many things that are different in my life now as I am about to turn 40 than they were as I was turning 30. My 30s have been full of some of the highest highs and lowest lows. It's been a decade of learning about myself, learning about how to relate to others, learning how to set boundaries, finding a voice and strength I didn't have before, reevaluating things in my life, and learning and unlearning and relearning so many different things. For me, grief is woven in that story and that decade in so many ways. My 30s started on one of the highest highs with the birth of my son. Just a few short months after my son was born, though, my mother passed away unexpectedly. It threw us all for a loop, but it was definitely difficult for me in navigating motherhood. I quickly realized how much I relied on my mother for support, encouragement, and advice. We didn't live in the same state, but hardly a day went by without at least a text, if not a phone conversation, especially when it came to my son. Here at Motherless Daughters Ministry, we look a lot at how age of loss and the stage of development that you are in life can affect your mother loss story. So, the age of loss could be when a mother passed away, as in my story. It could also be from birth for motherless daughters who never received the nurturing care of a mother through abandonment, emotional absence, or narcissism. You may not have thought a lot about how that specific age you were when you first experienced mother loss can have effects in so many areas of your life. At different ages, we are going through different stages of emotional development. Well, everyone may not be exactly the same. There are things and skills that we are developing in different age groups. Having something like mother loss disrupt that time in your life can cause disruption in developing those skills and stages that you're working on. Perhaps they're completely stunted, or perhaps you have some struggles in developing those skills. You can see a ripple effect of that throughout your life as you continue to need to build on some of those skills. There's things that you're developing in your early years that you're building upon later in your teenage years or in your young adult, and so forth. We break down the age of loss into a few different age ranges. And in each of these age ranges, there are aspects that you will see common for motherless daughters who experience loss at that age. Of course, no two stories are the same, so you're not going to maybe fit everything to a T. But there are common threads of stories of motherless daughters who experience loss at those age ranges. Our ministry looks at different age ranges from 0 to 6, 6 to 12, your adolescent years, so 12 to 19, and then the remaining decades, your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Losing a mother at one of these age ranges can lead to common experiences that women find. It can be interesting to read through this information and understand the unique challenges that you were going through at that age. It may not explain everything about the way you are, and certainly there are other major life events that have happened. But it can give you a piece of the puzzle in understanding yourself and understanding why you may struggle with certain things or excel in certain areas. Just understanding more about how your development and emotional development has gone for you. As I read things about a woman who loses her mother in her 30s, there are many things that I can relate to. A lot of the information for a woman losing her mother in her 30s is talking about the stage of development that a woman in her 30s is at. Oftentimes, a woman at this stage is feeling stretched thin. There are lots of commitments. family commitments, work commitments, personal commitments, so many things in different directions that a woman is trying to do. It's common for a woman at this age to be building more intimate connections and relationships, whether that's through a partner, family, friends, support system, chosen family. There's so many different ways that a woman is working on developing communication, intimacy, trust, things that are important for her as she has started to develop her own family, her own network, her own life. A lot of times, a woman in her 30s has created her own family apart from her family of origin. Again, it could be a family that all lives in the house or a family of support that she has created around her. Sometimes a woman in her 30s who loses her mother can start to feel some guilt or some regret in thinking about the focus of her family, not as much maybe the family of origin. A woman in her 30s is seen as an adult, of course, and is an adult, but still needs her mother, especially as navigating motherhood, navigating careers, navigating relationships. There's so many times where she can benefit from mother's advice or just a sounding board of someone to talk to, knowing that there is a place she can still go and find home, even if she doesn't return home often. A woman in her 30s is also navigating a relationship with her mother that includes other roles. Perhaps her mother is a grandmother to her children if she's a mother. So that adds other aspects and layers to mother loss. For me, my son doesn't remember my mother, but that comes with its own challenges as I try to keep her memory alive. Others in their 30s may have children who already have a relationship with their grandmother. And so a woman in her 30s is trying to navigate the grief that her child feels as well as the grief that she feels. I can even relate to this sometimes as my son will reflect on or have grief for not being able to remember his grandmother. Like I said, it's so interesting to learn about the age of loss and stage of development. It can give us a lot of insight into things that we struggle with and things about ourselves. At our ministry, we love to help give women information and knowledge to help them in their journey. We don't want anyone to feel like they're alone. Understanding that other women that lost their mother at the same age of loss and stage of development struggle with things that you're struggling with can help you realize it's okay and you're not alone. We hope that you can check out our ministry. Go to our website and look at our blog. We have multiple blogs that cover all these different stages of loss and age of loss. We hope that you can find something that will encourage you and help you feel less alone. We're always here to walk alongside you on this journey of grief that we are all navigating.